What is up, everyone? We're back. It's Monday. We're here for another Views from the MontyVerse. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zach McDonald.
What up?
What's going on, Zach? It's a big day for you.
Listen, man, let's get these guests in here, okay? We need to start talking about these Dune
All right.
posters.
I guess first we'll bring on the legend that is Dan Bettenhausen, a.k.a. Space Dan 2.
A new legacy.
And we have another legend, another returning legend, the party man himself, the party monster, as some would say. Party J, a.k.a. Jess Dune Dawson.
What
I
up,
did not
what
come up
up?
with that button. I'm not claiming that one.
Why are you doing peace signs? That's my thing.
No, it's
I don't
everyone's
You
thing.
don't own the peace sign.
man. Yeah, I do. I'm the only one that still does it.
Ever?
All right, fine.
I feel like Tony Stark did that like 12 years ago. Anyway, Zach, this is what you've been waiting for, dude. We got some new Dune media. We have some all new character posters. Why don't you talk about these for a little bit? So you're a big Dune guy.
Yes, and also one thing I wanted to touch on before we even get into the Dune posters was we also got since the last time we've talked about Dune, we also got the official runtime at 155 minutes, so 2 hours and 35 minutes. I had heard rumors that it was near 3 hours. Obviously, 2 hours and 35 minutes is a hefty movie, but not quite 3 hours. So I was both happy and a little bit sad when I heard that. Just because I know like 2 hours and 35 minutes is a long time to tell half of a book, but it's a pretty robust story. So anyways, I just want to mention that before we started talking about the posters. So it should be, I mean, all in all, I'm excited. That's long enough to tell the story. But we did get 8 character posters that dropped today. Most notably, I would say, is the one of the Baron Harkonnen, Stellan Skarsgård.
Yes.
Skarsgård.
I'll move this out of the way so everyone can see a little bit better.
So all of the other characters up to this point, we have gotten pretty good looks at through some of the original marketing material from the trailers. But the Baron Harkonnen, we have seen basically nothing from. Any clip of him that was in the trailer was either like very zoomed in, very dark. We couldn't see much, but we had heard from Stellan Skarsgård that one, he wasn't on set very long, which makes sense because while the Baron is definitely very present in this story, he is mostly sort of in the background. He's not a very dynamic character. In fact, he's very notably not dynamic. He is sort of like the shadowy figure that's sort of pulling the strings in the background. So most of his stuff in the movie is probably going to be, dialogue heavy in sort of a single setting. So it makes sense that he wasn't on set for very long. But he also talked about how he did like 7 or 8 hours of prosthetics each day because the Baron is sort of like a big grotesque sort of figure, so it makes sense that they were making him up. But up to this point, we haven't seen really anything from him. So this poster is kind of a big deal from that regard. Also, just how menacing he looks. The previous iterations of Dune, so the David Finch version and like the sci-fi miniseries or the BBC miniseries, they have all portrayed the Baron as sort of like this really aloof, sort of like goofy kind of character and not like the menacing character that he is in the book. So this is like a really good sign right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, the Stellan Skarsgård definitely is the most interesting poster, the Baron, just because of how intriguingly different he looks. Like,
Yeah.
It's such a unique look. So the fact that you mentioned all the prosthetics they're using and the fact that the character is supposed to be this like menacing shadowy figure, just the expression and the kind of like pose he has in that poster tells a bit of a story there.
Mm-hmm.
are there any other characters we should be super excited about? Because again, I'm planning on going into Dune blind. I'm not going to read the book before the movie comes out. So, is there anybody here that like you are especially excited for to see?
I mean, like, kind of like the two most important characters for Dune mythology are Paul, who is sort of the lead. He is the lead of the first Dune book. But like as you go on further and further, Duncan Idaho actually becomes kind of one of the most integral parts of the mythology. So the two of them, considering that, you know, if this franchise is sort of like a long-term franchise, those two are the two that would probably see the most screen time in the long term. So I'm really curious to see how both of them are kind of portrayed and how they handle the roles that they're given. But I mean, other than that, I like seeing Chaney and Stilgar. They're the only two Fremen characters. The Fremens are like the native people of Dune. And you can see they have the blue eyes. I had mentioned earlier in a group chat that I was a little disappointed with the portrayal of the Fremen eyes, just because in the books they're described as blue and blue, and it's like if you are Fremen, normally it's like a deep blue, not just like a subtle blue. Like these look like almost just like blue eyes rather than blue in blue. Like they don't look totally unnatural. But I mean that's a pretty minor gripe at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the colors play off of each other, just based off of the colors of this movie in general. I wonder how much more the blue is going to pop seeing it on screen with all like the sand backgrounds and the tans and the desert colors. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Do you guys have any thoughts on Dune? Dan, I know you also read the book.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, one character poster that I don't think was shown that was also released was Dr. Yue. He was also not as major of a character as that Zach mentioned, but character I'm actually most interested in is Rebecca Ferguson's Lady Jessica. I think she, especially in the first book, she's kind of the character that gets the ball rolling with this. I mean, the book is many years old, but so I still don't want to spoil it if you don't know the story and want to go in blind. But she kind of gets a lot of things rolling, at least as far as the mythology that we get in this first book. And I mean, I'm a big Rebecca Ferguson fan, especially from the Mission Impossible films. So I'm interested to see her take on the character. I mean, I think just on the surface, this is a very well cast film. I'm hoping it lives up to that when we actually get the movie. But these posters don't give me any reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, and real quick, you mentioned Dr. Yui and Lady Jessica. So yeah, those two characters, again, without getting into spoiler territory, they are kind of like the catalyst for how the story plays out in this first book. So yeah, two very important characters. And also, Denis has talked about how Lady Jessica's role in this movie has kind of been elevated because while she is a pretty integral part of Dune, like Dan mentioned, she is truly the catalyst for everything that happens. So to expand that role even further is pretty cool. I think that should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, and this cast is that's what I think is the most appealing to me about this film. So just look at the people they have on these posters right now.
Mm-hmm.
These are like people at the top of their game at the moment.
Yeah,
just all signing on to do this with like the promise of this being the next major sci-fi franchise. Like you have Josh Brolin hot off of Thanos, Oscar Isaac hot off of Star Wars trilogy. You have Jason Momoa off the success of Aquaman, Timothée Chalamet off of the numerous Oscar-nominated roles that he's had over the past couple of years. Zendaya is in everything now. You know, Rebecca Ferguson killing it. Like Javier Bardem. This cast is amazing. These are just the people that are just in these posters. There's still way more people in this movie. Yeah. So
I
think one thing these films can suffer from is like over too much star power. But from reading the books, I mean, Zach, I don't know if you'll agree or disagree. They look like what I had pictured I had read the book before anyone was cast, and these have the look of kind of what I had in mind when I was envisioning the characters.
So I will say that is mostly true. Again, same thing. I mentioned this in the group chat when these posters first got dropped. The notable exception would be Gurney Halleck, who in the books is described as like a very ugly man, which is kind of like, it's not like important to his character, but it sort of explains sort of why he's taken the path in life that he has. I mean, he's like the sword master, the what would it be called? Like the war warden or something. He's the head of the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here it's basically just Josh Brolin with the scar.
Yeah, right.
With like a Harry Potter scar.
It's an early scar.
Maybe they're going for more of like an ugly on the inside type of thing. Maybe.
I hope not, because Gurney Halleck is decidedly not ugly on the inside.
Yeah,
That's
really cool character.
A characteristic of him.
What were you saying, Pardis?
Yes, right.
Dave Bautista's in this film, right?
Yes. And I was going to mention that too. There's a couple posters that we didn't get that I'm looking for. One of them, the Beast Raban, who is Dave Bautista's character.
Also, he's not in the main poster as well that we showed earlier.
No, like I said, this cast goes on for fucking days. Like it's just like the amount of talent in this film, and just for me is just like someone who's on the outside looking in of this franchise. The fact that they got this many people to do this means that one, the script must have been really good, and they actually want to be there. It's the fact that they got so many people on the A-list at the moment to do such an ensemble.
I hope it won't be a box office bomb, because the premise looks interesting.
I mean, I think that goes to the credit of Denis Villeneuve. I mean, I think every film he's made is been, at least of what that I've seen, have been stellar sci-fi movies.
Yes.
So I think just going off of his reputation, I think he attracts talent because of his track record.
Blade Runner 2049 is a gorgeous film. Like, absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, Arrival, Sicario. I mean, the list is...
Yeah.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a huge fan of the property, correct? That's, from my understanding, he's a big fan of the book?
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's very exciting. When someone's very passionate about something, and you could tell that they bleed that into the product. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about doing. Zach, is there anything else you want to mention about the Dune stuff that we got? We got this new banner. I think this is new. I believe this is new.
Yeah, I think it is. I will mention something I've mentioned before, which is the inclusion of Chaney and Stilgar so prominently in the marketing is a little bit confusing at this point. I'm curious to see if they are as present in the movie as the marketing would suggest they are, just because in the books they are, through the first half of the movie, they would not be very present at all. So I'm curious to see if that's just a marketing tool or if they are actually fairly present.
I would have to imagine, because Zendaya is so on the rise right now. Like, her star is on the rise. And pairing her up with Timothée Chalamet in the posters and stuff, what might trigger the sensation of that YA audience. Like, is this like a kind of like YA situation? So that's why I think that might be there. But again, I'm not 100% sure. But from an outside perspective, that could be why they're trying to do that.
My guess is that they're going to show us. So trying not to be too spoilery here, but like Duncan Idaho sort of acts as a like an arbitrator for the Fremen and the Atreides family. So in passing, there's a bunch of stuff about talking about Duncan Idaho going off and meeting with the Fremen people. So my thought is they're probably just going to show more of that on screen than is actually discussed in the book. In the book, it's just referenced, and I'm guessing here we will actually see it, and that will be their way to get Stilgar and Chaney on the screen a bit more and a bit earlier.
You guys want to know what my favorite part about the posters are?
Sure.
Timothée Chalamet as Paul.
Objectively fun. I know nothing about books.
So
funny.
But there's a reason why they're not giving him a last name effectively, because
I know, but you could see how hilarious it is because, like, Lady Jessica, Duke Leto, Duncan Idaho, son of Dunkin' Donuts, and over here it's just Paul.
But like all of the Atreides family don't have last names attributed to them, though.
I know, but it's fun. You got to admit it's funny. You got to admit it's funny. Just Timothy Chalamet as Paul.
It is funny.
It is funny. Speaking of things that were meant to be funny and were not funny, we had the misfortune of, well, some of us, I don't know if all of us got a chance to suggest.
I watched it today.
But yeah, so Space Jam, New Legacy came out this weekend, and I feel like we all have some thoughts on this movie. I think the thing that I will say, and I think this shot sells it the best. It is an assault on the senses. Watching this movie, I feel like all 5 of my senses were assaulted at the same time, and I needed to go into a deprivation tank just to recover from this.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I thought it was a bad movie. I think the original Space Jam is a bad movie. So, I don't know. It was kind of like par for the course. Like, I don't know. I wasn't expecting much from it. It didn't give me much. I thought the real life version of the tunes were fairly disturbing, and I didn't like that at all. The rest of it was kind of like to be expected, though. I don't have much to say about it.
I mean, I feel like
so it was bad. But my expectations were so low going into it that I found enjoyment in it because I had garbage expectations going in. So there was really no way it could have been worse than my expectations, and it wasn't. There were bits and pieces that I found funny. There were moments. I thought Don Cheadle was hilarious. I mean, intentional or not, like, he was having fun. I had some fun looking out at Warner shilling out all their properties. I mean, is LeBron James a good actor? No, he's not. Neither is Michael Jordan. That didn't bother me. Like, there was stuff I knew. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this a pass because I gave it a pass in the other movie. I liked the references to the other movie. I'm glad they didn't ignore the original movie. So, was it a good movie? It was not a good movie. Did I loathe it? No, I did not.
I had no expectations because I knew it was going to be bad.
Partis, I feel like you have a very hot take on this movie. I'm unleashing you. Go ahead. What did you think?
Oh, okay, here comes my. I'll keep my rant short.
Okay.
So, number one, this movie is pails and pails of garbage, and
pails
of garbage.
Yes.
Pails of
I meant to
Is that
say
like, are those like
piles.
buckets?
Buckets, like many buckets.
Okay, buckets of garbage.
Oh, buckets, like what you put petrol in.
Yes, many buckets of
Jugs,
rubbish.
I think is what you're thinking.
Rubbish now. We're going.
Okay,
Jugs,
you know what?
jugs of garbage. We got it.
Anyways, number two. This was not a Space Jam movie at all. Like, literally, like the whole movie was basically an advertisement of all the Warner Brothers IPs.
Yeah, but the first one was just an advertisement of.
Well, they did it better. This is just like, there's Warner Brothers Studios.
Go rewatch it. It's not.
Oh, I did earlier today.
It is a commercial. Space Jam 1 is a commercial.
Yeah.
Space Jam 1 is a commercial for Looney Tunes. It's a commercial for Air Jordan. It's a commercial for.
Okay, fine. But
there's a lot of product placement.
This one is way like.
But at least they're shilling their own products in this one.
But like, it needs to be focused on the Looney Tunes and the basketball game. Also, the basketball game wasn't that interesting as well because the Looney Tunes weren't themselves. Like, they weren't like what they like. How because Looney Tunes is supposed to be zany and like goofy and like.
They're very much an afterthought. I get what you're trying to say. They're very much an afterthought in the movie. It felt like.
But I do want to say two things about that, Partis, because you said they're supposed to focus on the basketball. I I was shocked by how quickly the basketball game started. The movie is like 2 hours long, right?
The basketball game didn't start until like 109 minutes.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, dude, it's a long movie. It's a long.
I don't know why it was 2 hours.
No. The basketball game starts at like an hour. There's the basketball game lasts a full hour.
No, dude, it starts like 109 minutes in.
Yeah.
Well, it's not 109 minutes because the movie is only, I think, 114 minutes. So
no, this movie is like
it's an hour.
7 hours.
It's like an hour.
Hour 55. Yeah.
All right.
It just feels like it's.
I don't. It felt like
because like I paused the movie like, all right, we're about to wrap up here, and there was still 45 minutes left. So, like, and the basketball game was well underway at that point. But also, to your point, Pardis, you said the Looney Tunes are supposed to be like loony and zany, but that's like part of the story that they're telling, right?
But it's not like what they usually are. They're like,
I know, but that's intentional because they're like LeBron is trying to coach them and stuff and make them take it seriously. And it's not until the second half that he has the realization that they're supposed to be loony. So that it seems weird I understand critiquing the movie for lots of reasons. It seems odd to critique it for that reason because that is something that is addressed, but that's addressed in the movie and it's done intentionally, like with purpose.
You know what we can critique it for? That the basketball game made no fucking sense. That there was no rhyme or reason.
I was like, did they just score 780 points on that basket? Yeah. They made up that 1,000-point deficit
in
so
3
fast.
In 3
so fast.
And some of the points weren't even a goal. Like,
wait. Then, what's his face? Algae Rhythm had like the most insane dunk I've ever seen. 2 points.
It's like they forget about the style points at the end. Everything becomes normal basketball. 2 and 3 pointers.
Yeah, it was. I agree. The points were very wild.
The best part of this film was the whether intentional or unintentional irony of like crapping on the multiverse when this whole film was like a multiverse film from Warner Brothers properties. Like, I don't know if it was a critique of that or if it was praising that, but it was doing something, and I was interested in what it was trying to say.
Yeah, they were playing. Algae Rhythm is a Warner Brothers like piece of property, a piece of technology. The beginning of the movie was them dunking on themselves. I was like, what is happening right now? Are they just roasting themselves in this movie?
The best is
they did.
Also, there's like a bunch of R-rated characters in the crowds, like in a kids movie. Like, for example, the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange. You wouldn't show your kid that at all.
Kids aren't going to know.
But they don't know who they are.
But it's all like the cheap Party City versions. What they did was they were like, who are the most visually stimulating characters that we can make, that we could like pretend to use for the cheapest amount of money?
Well, it's purely based on iconography. They're like, who will people recognize?
Yeah,
who use all the Hanna-Barbera characters?
They had like a guy in as Arnold Schwarzenegger from Batman and Robin, and in his robe, and I'm like, what is going on? They had like 3 Jokers, 2 Penguins,
Pennywise,
2 Catwoman.
Yes, Pennywise.
Pennywise was the mask who just had the yellow suit, and then he had a T-shirt underneath it.
Well, it was a casual mask.
They couldn't afford a
basketball mask.
Basketball mask. It's just like I was so distracted by the everything because it's so weird. It's so jarring because one, they make you feel claustrophobic by putting a force field around the very edge of the basketball court, and then they give you these cheap Party City Warner Brothers characters, and then directly behind them are all the the CG and cartoon characters instead of like integrating them. So it just looks like it's weird. So weird. Everything just looks so fucking weird.
I want to comment on something that Patrick just posted in the chat because I don't understand why Dame was like the super all-star of the Goon Squad. Like, he is not the best player of that group. Anthony Davis is the best player. So why did he get to be like the super elite secret weapon? He must have had whatever. He must have had something on the studio.
He used the cheat codes because this whole thing is a fucking video game. Where's the space in Space Jam?
That's what I was going to ask.
Aliens.
Exactly.
They were in this one. The aliens were here.
Yeah, but
okay, there was like half a second.
That was the best part of the movie when you see
I wish you would have gotten
form. I was like,
I wanted to get an update on their amusement park, honestly, but
like you could barely see the Monstars, not like as they're like with the.
Well, yeah, they didn't have the
green
secret. They didn't have the secret
They have
talent.
the basketball that stole abilities from people.
You don't take Muggsy Bogues' talent and get away with it.
Obviously.
Also,
I did laugh at the Matrix scene though. Okay, I thought that was funny.
No,
I thought the Matrix scene was funny.
It was funny.
The grandma and Speedy Gonzalez make a good tandem.
The problem with those vignettes, the problem with those like little like vignettes from one Warner Brothers property to the next is like there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. It's just like
Warner Brothers,
Harry Potter's, DC, Wonder Woman. It's just like what? I'm like Rick and Morty. Like Rick and Morty show up in this, and they're just like, here, take Tasmanian Devil.
They must have given them the bag, dude.
I am about to spoil the film. Heads up. I don't know if there's a spoiler warning.
For anyone in the audience who has not watched Space Jam,
please do not watch it.
Don't watch it. don't
just listen to these spoilers instead.
The best part was the Michael B. Jordan scene for me.
I was about to bring that up.
It was hilarious, but not because of the Michael B. Jordan scene. It's just this throwaway joke where you see Daffy Duck. I'm getting there, Pardis.
He's setting the stage.
I'm setting the stage. Daffy Duck
continue.
And on his Sylvester says, "Oh, I found Michael Jordan," but it's Michael B. Jordan. And then after they get that all cleared up, on Daffy Duck's clipboard it says "Trade Sylvester." That was the funniest joke in the whole movie, and it was a throwaway animation.
I may have caught myself smiling like after Porky Pig does his rap battle.
Oh no!
I did not like that. I did not enjoy that scene.
When Tweety Bird flies across the screen, it's like, oh, that was funny. That might have got me.
But I do think two of the weird things we mentioned, like Warner Brothers dunking on themselves being one of the main themes, but the other theme is LeBron, who is playing LeBron in the movie, right? He's playing almost like a different version, but he's still LeBron James.
LeBron variant.
Yes, a LeBron variant, but he's playing a version of himself that is just a bad dad, which is like a weird choice to be like, I'm going to play myself in a movie, and my character, his defining characteristic is that he's a bad dad.
I think
like,
the trade-off.
What a weird choice.
We'll flex all of your accolades by giving like a 3 to 5 minute.
The intro was just I thought I was about to watch a LeBron James documentary.
Me too. It was just like, oh, LeBron James drafted a first round pick at the age of 18, 17, whatever.
17 years old, 6'7.5", 240 pounds. Damn, this guy's diesel.
It's like the greatest hits of LeBron.
The one thing that bugs me about these movies, and I don't know why it does, both of them, is just how casual people are about running into the Looney Tunes. It's like, oh, hey, Bugs. Like,
or how casual people are about
I love the Looney Tunes
superstars going missing.
Sorry, what was that, Zach?
I said also how casual they are about superstars going missing. Just disappearing. They each have one friend who's worried about them, but to anyone else, whatever.
The one thing
we all need a Wayne Knight from the first one.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. The first one, they at least had Wayne Knight. They had Bill Murray, who was A+ in the first one. They had the so bad it's charming stuff, like the fact that Michael Jordan lives in a tiny house in the middle of suburbia. Whereas in this one, they corrected that by having LeBron James
in a mega mansion,
live in a fortress with a private basketball hoop.
The ball gag, the ball gag. That is not what I meant. The gag with the ball launching machine. Yes, that was also funny to me.
Yeah,
the kid had good timing with being hit by a basketball.
You're right, Lastrina. There was no slamming soundtrack on this one.
Yes, no Monstars anthem to fall back on.
Do you know what the saddest part was? The saddest part was when Bugs sacrificed himself.
Whoa.
I didn't tear at all.
Whoa,
yeah, major spoilers.
There's nothing to spoil about this stupid movie.
I mean, look, if there's anything to spoil, it's that.
That's the movie on purpose.
That is the one thing.
Spoiling the movie on purpose.
The one heartfelt moment in the movie.
It rips it to shreds.
But it's how the fuck did he come back? He's just back. And then he's in the real world.
Dude, they set it up. There was foreshadowing, okay? He's a Looney Tune. He can't die. Yeah, he can survive anything.
Yeah, but how did he come into the real world?
Bugs is an immortal god.
Whatever, man. Yeah.
Bugs is a god. This, I don't know. That is the question, right? Is the first one so bad that it's as good as this one?
I mean, the first one has like. The first one has nostalgia, and I think John is right. It has the soundtrack. The soundtrack does a lot of heavy lifting with the first movie because it has some pretty like iconic songs on it.
Yeah,
I mean, when I was a kid, I listened to that soundtrack.
It's a good soundtrack. It's a great soundtrack.
I loved the blatant stupidity of the first one. Like, it was shameless in its own way, whereas this one just felt like
shameless.
It felt like Warner Brothers was being whorish and LeBron James was being whorish, whereas the first one just felt like, we have this stupid idea, let's just do this stupid thing.
Yeah, I mean, with this one, they dropped the pretense of like attempting to actually make a movie.
Yeah,
I say this very facetiously, but at the beginning, Algae Rhythm's going through his whole like, we'll just put you in all these other movies. I may have been more entertained if they had just put LeBron in the original Space Jam. Like, just no qualms about it. We are just ripping off the first one. LeBron, we are going to retroactively just put you in Space Jam 1. It may have been a better movie.
Because it does exist in this. This is a sequel to it. They reference it a few times. Well, no, it is. No, it's not a sequel. It's
a standalone.
It's
a sequel.
They reference the first one multiple times. They reference meeting Michael Jordan. They reference playing basketball before. All that stuff was referenced, so they could have done that.
Yeah, but not in a good way. Like, they try to reference.
Well, good way or bad way, regardless, they referenced it. It's a sequel.
The first one had supporting characters like Wayne Knight and Bill Murray. This one has Don Cheadle, who absolutely knows what movie he's in. He's the only person in this movie who knows what movie he's in, and he's killing it left and right. Algae Rhythm is the greatest character in this film, hands down.
I will say LeBron's business partner also knows what.
I would say Lil Rel. Yeah. I was going to say.
Lil Rel.
Yeah.
Ernie Johnson, Lil Rel. They were both good.
They were good. Those were. I just wish that they weren't like in a neon, purple and yellow, vomit-inducing background, like watching them act, because that was terrible.
All right, we've officially talked about Space Jam more than Dune. So.
No, we're about the same right now. We're about the same.
Zach wants to go back from Toon Squad to the Dune Squad, but I think we have other topics to go to.
The Dune Squad would crush the Toon Squad, by the way.
Bugs was a shady fuck in this movie. He did have an ulterior motive. Bugs was sneaky.
Well, I mean, like, his ulterior motives were getting his friends back.
It was a good ulterior.
Yeah, right.
No, worse ulterior motives.
Yeah.
I also didn't expect Stephen Young to show up as well.
Yeah, they probably gave him a nice paycheck.
That was a pay. Yeah, that was definitely a paycheck role.
All right, so moving on. Which topic should we cover now? Should we cover this topic next? Is Zach's hat ugly? No, we'll save that for the next.
It's a regular hat. There's nothing. It's very generic.
All right. So last week we were given a trailer for Free Guy, which essentially is Ryan Reynolds making his MCU debut, reacting to the trailer of Free Guy as Deadpool, next to Taika Waititi as Korg, who are quite possibly the two greatest characters that Marvel has right now, teaming up together. Like a comedy genius duo right now. This was hilarious. I'm not sure how they made that happen. Or I know the logistics of it. But the fact that they were able to make that happen and the fact that they were able to do this was amazing. And these two characters together are an absolute riot. And I need to see more of them immediately. Did anyone else catch that by any chance?
I haven't seen it, but I will say Ragnarok is a movie that I don't care for, but I do love Korg in it. And unfortunately, I don't care for the Deadpool movies either. So I'm less excited about this team up, and I mean I'll watch it now that I'm aware of it, but yeah, I guess I'm just not quite as hyped on it as you are, Pat.
What about the movie Free Guy though?
Free Guy? I mean, whatever. Yeah. It looks fine. I'll probably watch it, but
I feel like Free Guy, along with Suicide Squad, has made a fatal flaw of releasing too many trailers at this point. Like, I feel like I've watched both of those movies. I feel like I know.
Yeah, same.
Well, Free Guy was supposed to come out last year, but the pandemic happened. Then it got moved like many times.
Yeah. I also just think that this was smart of Marvel to let Reynolds do, because we know that they're doing Deadpool 3, and it's a way to just keep the name out there, to keep the property in people's minds, to keep it going. To kind of hold people over and let them know, like, hey, this guy's going to be around. He's going to do something coming up.
Yeah, I definitely think it was like a smart use of cross-promotional material, It makes sense for both, from both ends, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. But speaking of Marvel, the Emmy nominations were released last week, and Marvel racked up 28 nominations. WandaVision received 23 of them. The main ones being for Outstanding Limited Series, Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series for Elizabeth Olsen, Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series for Paul Bettany, and Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited Series for Kathryn Hahn. They also received directing, writing, production design, casting, and a slew of other nominations amidst their 23. And The Falcon and the Winter Soldier received 5. The most controversial being Algae Rhythm himself, Don Cheadle, getting a nomination for Guest Actor in a Drama Series. The rest are technical awards. They got 2 for stunts, 1 for stunt coordination, 1 for stunt performance, 1 for sound editing, and 1 for special visual effects in a season. This nomination marks Cheadle's 11th. The majority of those were for his series House of Cards, and he has not won yet. Guys, do we think Don Cheadle's bringing home the Emmy for his
Give Algae Rhythm his Emmy.
Well, it depends on who else is nominated for that category.
I don't think it matters who's nominated for.
I feel like
I do not think Don Cheadle is winning his 11th nomination. I don't think 11 is going to be enough.
We got to get to lucky number 13.
The algorithm's not there for Don Cheadle, for Mr. Cheadle. But I'm very excited about all this support for WandaVision. I love the series, and I think a lot of these awards are well deserved. I think Elizabeth Olsen, especially, and Paul Bettany really deserve to be noticed for their acting in this series.
And that's what I want to touch on. I'm looking through these. I think just from an Emmy standpoint in general, lead actress in a limited series or movie is probably the toughest category this year. I think all 5 actresses are well deserving. So I think Elizabeth Olsen, while deserving, is going to have a tough go against like a Kate Winslet and Anya Taylor-Joy, Cynthia Erivo, and so on. Whereas Paul Bettany, while the people he's up against are very good, I think he may have an easier chance of winning just based on who he's nominated against in there. You may say one or the other is better between Olsen and Bettany, but just as far as who they're nominated with, I think Bettany has a better chance of winning just based on the category, the nominees he's up against compared to Elizabeth Olsen.
I just want to make a correction before we go forward. I said House of Cards. I meant House of Lies.
Yeah. And I'll say too, like, I think these nominations by and large are very well deserved. And I think a lot of the technical nominations are almost to be expected based on, when you take these big movie budgets and you then bring them to the small screen like this, I think you can sort of anticipate that may be something that happens. With the acting nominations for the WandaVision crew, I will say, even though I was very much hot and cold on WandaVision, the acting outside of one episode of Paul Bettany's performance, I thought was pretty much stellar across the board. Even when I didn't like the episodes, the acting was very good. So well deserved for them also.
Yeah, I think I don't expect a lot of wins. I mean, even though Watchmen did do work last year at the Emmys, which was well deserved. Watchmen was amazing. I think just the fact that they got this many nominations is a huge victory for Marvel Studios. It's a huge victory for the comic book genre, and it's a huge victory for what they're trying to do on Disney Plus in general. So I think whether or not they get a lot of these wins, just getting 28 nominations out of these two series, I think is a great start to what they're doing.
It would not surprise me at all if either of them won, but especially if Paul Bettany won. That would not surprise me whatsoever. I think, like I said, I think Elizabeth Olsen's going to have a tough go, especially against Anya Taylor-Joy. Again, I'm not going to repeat all the nominees, but all of them, everyone in that category is deserving.
So, yeah, especially Kathryn Hahn, because what she did with the character Agatha, she was fantastic in the show. Like, really enjoyed her character.
The one thing that's kind of disappointing, and I know we're having some fun about the Cheadle nomination. It's disappointing that Carl Lumley didn't get a nomination, because I thought he was the best part of Falcon Winter Soldier. And like I said, not that Don Cheadle isn't a great actor, but if you're going to recognize someone for a performance in the show, he should have been it.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that as well. I don't know if it was because he was in 3 episodes of the series, and that's why he couldn't be considered a guest. 3 out of 6 episodes, but he definitely was a standout, and his scenes were very powerful scenes. His introduction scene and his scene with Sam, where Sam really has to decide if he's going to wield the shield or not, and that's when he really makes his decision. Those are powerful moments, and that scene in the finale where he cries, and when Sam shows that he had a monument put up to him in the Captain America exhibit. Those are all very, very powerful moments in a series that was somewhat complicated by COVID a little bit in regards to its structure. He was definitely one of the bright spots, and it's sad that he didn't get any recognition. But yeah, going for number 11.
Yeah, it's like Delroy Lindo all over again.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this is a good start. I think this is, The Boys also got nominated. The Mandalorian got nominated. It's a good time for just superhero, sci-fi, television, limited series. I'm excited. These award shows, I haven't really watched much of them in the past couple years. I may watch this one live just because a lot going on. But anyway, it's time for our question of the week, guys, and we got a good one.
Do we have a theme song for question of the week, or is that coming in a later episode? Okay.
We're working on it, and when I say working on it, I mean I thought about it like 2 days ago, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do it. But we know that the Loki finale aired last week, and we're not going to be talking about the Loki finale here, but we do want to talk about one of the bright spots of the finale, which was Jonathan Majors appearing as He Who Remains, warning of the coming of his variants. I want to know, who is your guys' least threatening King Variant to enter the MCU? I will go first. My King Variant is a struggling stage magician working the children's 6 to 9 birthday party scene.
Not 11? 6 to 11, maybe?
Dabbles. He's trying to get in the bat mitzvah. Okay. He's trying to get in the bat mitzvah game. He's trying to make money. Stage name, Kevin the Conqueror. He was an expert balloon animal enthusiast before becoming a stage magician, and he incorporates it into his acts. Will he be the king that wins the war and becomes the new leader of the TVA? I don't know. But Kevin the Conqueror's got a shot. What about you guys? What say you guys? What's your King Variant?
Okay, so my Kang Variant is he goes by Kang the Striker. And instead of being the lead of the TVA, he is the lead of the PBA, the Professional Bowling Association, hence the striker name.
Nice.
This guy is smashing 300s like you wouldn't believe. Okay. He's slamming hot wings all day, every day. Couple brews, like 3 or 4 beers. That's when he starts picking up. 8 or 9 beers, he starts struggling a little bit, but he'll get there every single day at the lanes. This guy's just crushing it at the lanes all day, every day. Will he conquer anything? I mean, he's got a pretty big following, but remains to be seen.
I just imagine him not bowling, but in the crowd when Peter Weber was like, "Who do you think you are? I am." And he's just like clapping there. Like he's not actually bowling, but he was just there at that iconic quote from bowler Peter Weber.
And I mean, if he wasn't, he could go back and
true.
So
does King the Striker have any sort of pre-throw ritual? Like Fred Flintstone's got the twinkle toes. They got some people blow on their fingers, some people blow on the ball.
I don't know. Maybe he
gives a little swing and he calls it the time twister.
I was gonna say maybe he utilized what's the little time thing that you can
the time yourself twister.
But he's got is that what that was called in Loki?
He's got like his own version of it.
Like or whatever.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say maybe like his trick that he does before every throw is he goes and it looks like he's about to throw, but then he actually like times himself back, so it looks like he's just glitching. So he just always pops backwards and then throws again. So it looks like a double throw every time, but it's only one throw. He's not a fucking cheater. Okay.
Patrick gave us LeBron James. Kang Variant gets stuck in the servers. Finally was allowed to escape. Kang, man, really good at sports, basketball, bowling, dominating the sports world. Kang the Conqueror. Parters, do you have a Kang for us?
Sure, of course. My Kang variant goes by the name Billy, and he's a professional chef where he can cook up anything you like that's in a version of the MCU, and he uses his chopping blade. And he just tries to get every ingredient right, but he just can't pull it. And then he has to go back to cooking school.
So
my God.
Wow. So this Kang is a bit of a bust then. Like, he's not very good.
That is why he's least threatening.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have a knife, though.
But this is why this is his origin story. Parters just gave us his origin story. This is why he hates the superheroes of the MCU. Because he was forced to create these artistic cakes in their image for years and fail time after time. So he's just built up this rage and this hatred for the Avengers.
Like iron mango pie. Okay.
And he's just like, I will get you, Avengers. And he learns how to time travel. He's the time traveling Chef King named
Titan.
Billy.
I missed that. Chef Billy.
Chef Billy, the Conqueror.
Billy K.
All right, Dan, bring us home, Dan.
Let me paint you a word picture.
All right.
So we are in a timeline that is branched off, but we are still going. The events of Pat's favorite MCU film, Captain America, have happened. And post Nick Fury getting his eye scratched out by
the alien cat.
In the movie, it's Goose.
Goose, that's it. Thank you.
All right, so we're in the 90s. We're in the 90s here, right?
So you mean Captain Marvel?
Hmm?
You mean Captain Marvel?
What did I say?
Captain America.
I meant Captain Marvel. Sorry.
Which is my favorite MCU.
Sorry. No, I was being facetious. Captain Marvel. We're in the 90s, yes, where moles are a very big deal. You see Nick Fury, eye patch, newly fresh, and he's going to the mall, and he walks into a hat store where he comes across the Kang goal, and where we see Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson get his first Kangol hat, but it is a Kang variant who has to spend his days on Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury's head and can do nothing about it.
So this is like an inanimate Kang?
Yes.
Or what if the Kang becomes sentient?
Ooh, he could become sentient.
And he's like,
you think he could like probe? He could be like a virus of some sort.
Like the longer he wears it, the more control the Kangol gets.
This is least threatening here. This is just a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just trying to make a pun on Kang and Kangol people here.
Yeah, but now I love it too much.
All I am doing here.
No, I love it too much.
Yeah.
We might have to make him more threatening. Let's think about this for a second. So the more
now he's like a symbiote or something. What's Venom? He's like Venom now.
Ooh.
Oh my God, Patrick with another King. Robin Sparking. Now you have Nick Fury and Maria Hill as Kang Variant.
Yes. Maria, in this timeline, yes, Maria Hill was actually Robin Sparkles. Before.
Yes, this MCU actually takes place in the How I Met Your Mother universe. And Johnny Lawrence is the main character of Karate Kid. That all happened. Not gonna lie, guys. I think all of our kings have a shot at dying very early in the Secret Wars.
Yeah. But at least Kang the Striker will have a good time.
He'll have a good time. He'll party. He'll have a couple brews.
Don't be afraid to comment with your least threatening Kang in the comments section of this video.
Give us your least threatening Kangs in the comments video, and I cannot wait to read them. And see if you can beat Kangol and Kevin and Billy and King the Striker. Let's see what you guys got. All right.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Kang hears and he's just like, I am.
And if you do not want to know what I'm talking about, please look up Peter Weber. Who do you think you are? I am. It is iconic.
Incredible bowler.
My God, you know what?
High energy.
On that note, unless we want to talk about that,
it's not ugly. It's a
very
nice.
Kangol.
It's a very nice golf hat.
It's not a Kangol.
It's not a Kangol. It's not a Kangol. I think I'm gonna buy all the purple Kangol.
I do kind of want to see Zach in a Kangol hat now, though.
No, 100%. I want him in a Kangol.
Next episode, you wear it.
Next week, everyone's wearing Kangles.
All right, send me one, Pardis.
Pardis, send him a Kangol and a pizza, and he's good to go. And on that note, I think that we're going to bring this episode to a close. Pardis, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Pardis Jesse Dawson.
Dan, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at dhouse77. Also doing other fun things like reviews on Schmo Me the Money or here on the MontyVerse. And sometimes, from time to time, I stream tabletop RPG games on Twitch at McStabber Studios.
Awesome. Zach, where can people find you besides at Barnes & Noble's buying all the copies of Dune?
Shoot, where else would I possibly be? No, you can find me here on Mondays, and you can find me at some point in the future on Thursdays on the Schmo Me the Money channel whenever we start the Family Show Presents Step Up. We'll see. I'm not sure when we're going to be starting that, but
the Family Show Presents.
The Family Show Presents Step Up.
The Step Up franchise.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited for Step Up to the Streets, which is
To the Streets is that's my favorite. Also, that's my number one.
I need to watch these films.
Well, Pardis, you have time because they don't know when it's going to happen yet.
That's right.
That's true.
And on that note, I am Monty from the MontyVerse. We will see you guys later. Until next week, guys. Have a good one.